Have you ever paused before taking a sip of ice-cold water on a hot day? Have you ever wondered if that refreshing chill might be doing something unseen, something potentially harmful to your insides? It's a simple act. We do it every day. We fill a glass, add ice, and drink. But what if this common habit carries a hidden cost to our digestive health? What if the very thing we use to cool down is actually slowing down one of our body's most critical processes? This question is not new. Whispered for centuries, and now it echoes online, creating a cloud of confusion. The debate is surprisingly fierce. On one side, wellness influencers. On the other side of that aisle, proponents of ancient medicine. For generations, long before the advent of refrigerated water coolers and ice machines, traditional medicine systems had strong opinions about water temperature. In traditional Chinese medicine, the concept of balance is paramount. It is believed that consuming cold foods and drinks disrupts the body's internal energy, or qi, and creates an imbalance. Cold is thought to constrict the stomach and spleen, which are considered central to the digestive process. This constriction, according to traditional Chinese medicine, slows down digestion, bloating, cramping, a feeling of fullness. The advice passed down through centuries is to consume warm or room temperature water to support the digestive fire, not extinguish it. Similarly, in Ayurveda, the ancient Indian system of medicine, a strong digestive fire, known as Agni, is considered the cornerstone of good health. Agni is responsible for breaking down food, absorbing nutrients, eliminating waste. According to Ayurvedic principles, drinking cold water is like pouring water on a fire. It diminishes the power of Agni. This weakened digestive fire is believed to lead to the accumulation of toxins, or ama, in the body, which is seen as the root cause of many diseases. When we seek to separate fact from fiction, we must turn to scientific investigation. What does the published research tell us? What does the temperature of what we drink do to digestion? One key function is gastric emptying. The rate food and drink leave the stomach and enter the small intestine where absorption occurs. If cold water significantly slows this, it would support the myths. Several studies measured this. The results are illuminating and sometimes anticlimactic. A study in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition looked at athletes and water temperature. They found no significant difference in gastric emptying between cold water, (40°F, 4 degrees Celsius, and room temperature water. An older gastroenterology study reached a similar conclusion. The human stomach quickly warms its contents. The effect on digestion speed is minimal and temporary. When we compare the effects of cold-warm room temperature water, the differences are often subtle and context-dependent. Cold water, particularly for athletes or those exercising in the heat, may have a distinct advantage. Research shows drinking cold water during exercise helps keep core body temperature lower. This can improve performance, reduce the perception of effort, and delay the onset of fatigue. Warm water, on the other hand, has its own potential benefits. Some studies suggest warm water may improve gastrointestinal motility. A small study of post-abdominal surgery patients found warm water stimulated bowel movement sooner than cold water. For people prone to constipation, sipping warm water may help relax the digestive tract. Room temperature water is a neutral middle ground. Ultimately, the best temperature depends on your activity, situation, and comfort. If you're overheating, choose cold water. If you're constipated or sluggish, try warm water. For general all-day hydration, room temperature works well. Let's walk through the physiological journey of a glass of cold water from the moment it passes your lips. As the cold liquid travels down your esophagus, it comes into contact with tissues that are at core body temperature. There is an immediate, localized cooling effect. This can sometimes trigger a nerve response, which is why some people experience a brief, sharp headache known as brain freeze if they drink something cold too quickly. This happens when the cold sensation on the roof of the mouth causes blood vessels to constrict and then rapidly expand. This is a vascular response, not a digestive one, and it is temporary and harmless. Once the water enters the stomach, it pools with gastric juices and any food that might be present. The stomach is a muscular, dynamic organ with a rich blood supply. The body's powerful homeostatic mechanisms immediately kick in to counteract the temperature change. Blood flow in the vessels lining the stomach may momentarily constrict, but this is quickly reversed. The warmth of the surrounding organs and the metabolic heat generated by the body all work together to bring the temperature back to 37 degrees Celsius. This process is remarkably fast, usually taking only a few minutes. The primary job of the stomach is to mix food with acid and enzymes to begin the process of chemical digestion. The enzymes that work in the stomach, like pepsin, have an optimal temperature range centered around body temperature. A brief and slight drop in temperature from a glass of cold water is not significant enough to halt or severely impair the function of these enzymes. By the time the stomach's contents, known as chyme, are ready to be released into the small intestine, they have been thoroughly warmed. Health myths, especially those related to diet and digestion, have a remarkable ability to persist and spread, even in the face of scientific evidence to the contrary. One of the primary reasons is their simplicity and intuitive appeal. The idea that cold water solidifies fat is a perfect example. You can see fat harden, butter, when it gets cold, coconut oil, so it feels plausible that the same thing would happen in your stomach. This simple analogy is much easier to grasp and remember than a complex explanation involving enzymatic activity and body temperature regulation. Confirmation bias and the power of anecdote also play a huge role. If someone believes that cold water is bad for them, they are more likely to notice and attribute digestive discomfort to the water's temperature. They then share this evidence with others as a personal testimony. These stories are compelling and relatable, often carrying more weight than dry scientific data. Wellness influencers, algorithms, and sensational headlines amplify these claims, drowning out nuanced evidence. Once an idea gains momentum, it is repeated so often that it starts to feel like an established fact. So, if the temperature of your water is not the critical factor for your digestive health, what is? The most important rule of healthy hydration is simply to drink enough water. Dehydration is a far greater threat to your digestion and overall health than the temperature of your beverage. Water is essential for every step of the digestive process. It helps break down food and allows nutrients to be absorbed. It is crucial for forming soft, passable stools, thereby preventing constipation. Most adults should aim for around 8 glasses or 2 liters of water per day, but this can vary based on activity level, climate, and individual needs. Focus on consistency over temperature. Spread your water intake throughout the day rather than chugging large amounts at once. While science shows that for most people, cold water is perfectly fine, we are all individuals. If cold water consistently makes you crampy or uncomfortable, don't drink it. There is no harm in opting for room temperature or warm water if that feels better to you. If you have a known digestive condition like IBS or achalasia, follow your clinician's advice. Pay attention to the signals your body sends and adjust your habits accordingly. Finally, let's answer the central question clearly and directly. Does cold water harm your digestion? Based on the current body of scientific evidence, the answer for the vast majority of healthy people is no. Your body is exceptionally well equipped to handle cold liquids with minimal and temporary effects. The myths about solidifying fats and shutting down digestion are not supported by clinical research. The most important thing is to stay adequately hydrated. So, feel free to enjoy that refreshing glass of cold water, especially on a hot day or after a workout. If you prefer warm or room temperature water, that's great too. The best water to drink is the water you will actually drink. Let me know your thoughts or questions in the comments below. If you found this helpful, please subscribe, like, and comment. It really helps us make more evidence-based videos.